Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is the concluding instruction given by Kapila Muni to his mother Devahuti. Devahuti questions Kapila Muni regarding the practice of devotional service. Many questions she raises related to devotional service, and Kapila Muni goes on explaining, and this is the concluding verse. In fact, next another few chapters, a lot of instructions are there, but this chapter entitled The Glories of Devotional Service. So here we see Etavan eva loke asmin. So in this world, Pumsam Nishreyasodayah. Pumsa means for all human beings. Nishreyasa Udayaha. Nishreyasa means, Prabhupada translates it as final perfection of life. So human form of life, there are different stages a person passes through. There is a cycle of evolution. There are 84 lakh species through which he passes through, and finally he gets this human form of life. And even in human form of life, there are many categories. There are many uncivilized persons, and one portion of them are civilized. And even among civilized beings, there are gradations. 4th class men, 3rd class men, 2nd class, 1st class. A lot of gradations are there. Shri Krishna Balarama ki. And there is this perfection of human form of life. So here, Nishreyasa, the final perfection of life. So what is it? Nishreyasa Udayaha, the attainment of. So if at all you want to attain that final perfection of human life, what are we supposed to do? Kapila Muni tells, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Mano Mayi Arpitam Sthiram. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. So we have to practice devotional service. How to practice devotional service? Tivrena, with intensity. Intense devotional service. Here I recollect one conversation which I had with one of the head principal of a PU college in Dharwad many years before. They had called for one lecture. So I had been there. So we are aware, like students going to school, going to colleges, especially in PUC, 17, 18 years old, 16, 17, around that. We have seen many students who I am studying in such and such college, they say. And they may be involved in many other activities, other co-curricular activities. Some people play all sorts of games, go to movies, participate in all kinds of festivals or household activities, everything. They are also students, they are also studying. But with that head of that college there, he was telling how in their college they have this intense study. So I was inquiring, what is that intense study? What you will make the students do there? So first thing is, even before entering the college, there will be a written test, and with minimum marks, they will be allowed to enter, and compulsorily they have to stay there. Even if the house is adjacent building, they will not allow. They have to compulsorily stay in their specific hostel. The food they provide, specified timings are there, and they will provide whatever required. Any medical emergencies, they will take care. And the schedules are fixed. Morning, this time the students should wake up, time for exercises or whatever, time for getting ready, and this time sharp, whatever classes will start, and rigorous morning up to evening. Classes are there, lunch break, and then after evening also again, maybe 1 hour they have left for some games, and after that again, everyone compulsorily, they have to come back, sit in the specified places, sit and study. It will go on up to night or whatever, and dinner. So rigorous schedule. And even like Saturday, Sunday, weekends, the college authorities, they will take them through their college buses, whatever 1 hour, sometimes they'll bring them to our temple also. So they have got their own fixed schedules. Whatever happens in the outside world, some riots or band, schools and college holiday, nothing is applicable to them. So all students are inside, specific schedule, timetable, and there are teachers dedicated to monitor that, and all of these things he was explaining. So we can understand how studies, as being a student, leisurely, somehow, okay, when I am enrolled in some college, I am also a student there, studies are going on, he is also a student, but being, subscribing to certain specific organization, certain specific college, intense study with like-minded people, all of these things, it makes a difference. So likewise, we can apply the same thing for devotional service also, for devotees also. So someone comes once in a while, takes a chanting bag, chants Hare Krishna mantra, and usually some people say, whenever I come to temple, I will chant. Okay, yes, he is also devotee. Whenever festivals are there, whenever possibility is there, whenever they are free, they come and render service. Yes, well and good. Whenever time is there, I will read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Okay, very good. Yes, that's also devotional service. But when we speak of the attainment of the final perfectional stage of human life, this cannot be attained by such kind of devotional service. It may be a stage in our gradual evolution, step by step, but as serious practitioners, we should be aware of this If at all we want to reach that final perfectional state in life, it cannot be obtained by practice of devotional service somehow or the other. It has to be practiced intensely. That's why staying in the association of devotees, adhering to fixed standards given by the spiritual master, what time to wake up, what time to attend kirtan, what time to have prasadam, what time to take rest, how many hours of devotional service, how much to read, varieties of things, everything in a regulated manner. So this, just like in the same like students, even after enrolling in such colleges, there may be chances some students may not get through. On the other hand, there may be other set of students who are staying outside who would have not got such facility, who would have not got such association, but individually they are very much geared up. So voluntarily they will take up all kinds of austerity and they would have gotten through various kinds of exams, they would have passed through. So both possibilities are there. So in either case, the onus lies on the individual person, the individual devotee, irrespective of being a brahmachari or a grihastha, staying in the temple, outside, wherever it may be. The onus lies on the individual devotee. How intensely we practice. We practice devotional service with what intensity. So we should be aware of this. So this is what is expected by the Supreme Lord. Tivrena bhakti yogena, intense practice of devotional service, and then manomayi arpitam sthiram, meaning persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord. So mind being fixed on the Lord. It's not that sometimes on the Lord and sometimes for our sense gratification, completely involved in Maya. No. Being fixed on the Supreme Lord. Mano mayi arpitam sthiram. Sthiram means fixed. So this is how, therefore persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. So here in the purport we see Srila Prabhupada gives the example from the Bhagavatam of a great king. Which example? Yes, Maharaja Ambarisha. So Prabhupada goes on to explain here how Ambarisha Maharaja practiced devotional service. So let us see those verses from the Bhagavatam very beautifully explaining how Maharaja Ambarisha practiced devotional service. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor. He fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane. He engaged his ability to speak in glorifying the activities, the qualities of the Supreme Lord. Karo Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. He engaged his hands in cleansing. See, he is a very great big king. Still personally he was engaging his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord. Shrutim Chakara Chuta Satkathodaye. He engaged his ears in hearing about the glorious pastimes, activities of the Supreme Lord. Then Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drushau. Mukunda Linga Alaya. Alaya means the temple of the Lord, the deity form of the Lord. Drushau, he engaged his eyes in looking at the beautiful deities in the temple of the Lord. Then Tad Bhritya Gatra Sparshenga Sangamam. The sparsha, the sense of touch, he used to engage it in touching the devotees or embracing the devotees or rendering service to the devotees who are engaged in the service of the Lord. Then Ghranam cha tat pada saroja saurabhe, engaging his nostrils or the sense of smelling in smelling the flowers offered to the Lord. Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. Rasana, the tongue, was being engaged in tasting the tulasi leaves or the food, the prasadam offered to the Lord. Then Padau Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane. He engaged his legs in going to visit the temples of the Lord. Shiro Hrishikesha Padabhivandhane. He engaged his head in offering obeisances in front of the Lord. Kamam cha dase natu kama kamyaya. All of his desires, kama, was to render service to the Lord. Kamam cha dasye natu kama kamyaya. Nothing for his own sense gratification. All of his desires was just to render intense service, devotional service to the Lord. And then finally, Yatothama Shloka Janashraya Ratihi. Jana Ashraya, to take shelter of whom? Yatottama Shloka Jana, pure devotees of the Supreme Lord, finding out pure devotees of the Lord and taking shelter at their lotus feet. Ratihi, being attracted to or attached to, being sheltered by a pure devotee of the Lord. So this is how Maharaja Ambarisha practiced devotional service. So after explaining all these things, in the translation, Srila Prabhupada writes, after explaining all of these details, he says, he engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. Again I repeat, this is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. So as sadhakas, practitioners of devotional service, we also desire to be intensely engaged in the Lord's service. But because of our past habits, the force of our past sinful deeds, it won't allow us. The mind is disturbed, the senses are disturbed. So what needs to be done? So by following in the footsteps of Maharaja Ambarisha, engaging all of our senses in the service of the Lord, through this, what will happen through this? It will increase our attachment to the Lord and we will be completely free from all kinds of material desires. In fact, this is exactly what, like Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 12th chapter. Krishna says there, Mayi eva mana adatsva, Mayi buddhim niveshaya. Fix your mind upon me. engage your intelligence in serving me. What to do? As of now, I am unable to do. I am trying still. Failure. I am unable to fix my mind on Krishna. What can be done? So Krishna says there, Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi stiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. Arjuna, if you are unable to fix your mind upon me in this way, Mayi eva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya. If you are unable to do this, Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi, if you are unable to fix your mind in this way, what should be done? Abhyasa yogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. O Dhananjaya, practice, or like Abhyasa yoga, practice devotional service or practice this sadhana bhakti. Through this, gradually you will develop a desire to attain me. So that is a stage wherein all we devotees are in, trying to practice. We know these are the highest stages, highest stage we are supposed to reach. But unfortunately our mind's senses are disturbed. But by practice of devotional service, following in the footsteps of Maharaja Ambarisha, following the instructions given by the spiritual master, practice of regulated devotional service, one or the other day we may be able to achieve or attain that perfectional stage of human life, wherein undeviatingly we will be able to fix our mind on the Supreme Lord, and all of our senses, without a tinge of sense gratification, are being engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. Then, here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada also gives an example of a small child. A small child, it will be playing somewhere, and in its play, a lot of sound it may make, a lot of disturbances it may cause. So if a person, elderly person, maybe parents or teachers, whoever it may be, goes and tells the child, sit quietly, don't talk, don't do anything, sit in one place. Just if this instruction is given, it may not work. Usually it will not work, because the nature of a child is to be always active, being engaged in varieties of activities. Simply sitting silently, it is almost impractical for the child. Likewise, the spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, Satchidananda, its eternal, whatever its nature, it cannot remain without activity. So, this instruction is there. Don't be involved in sinful activities. Follow the rules and regulations. Yes, but simply making it vacant, just like the impersonalist Mayavadis or the impersonate meditators, what they recommend, it is impractical for a living entity. And that path is very difficult. Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. So what needs to be done? The child should be given some attractive, some beneficial, higher activity. Then the child will restrain itself from committing a lot of whatever other nonsensical activities. Likewise, devotees should be engaged in these kinds of whatever like attractive activities, engaging the mind, engaging all of the senses in some kind or the other service to the Supreme Lord. Only then it can be restrained from committing sinful activities or nonsensical activities. So this is yet another instruction given by Prabhupada here. And then one more. Srila Prabhupada says here, first of all, the mind should be engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord very steadily and naturally. So how should it be engaged? Steadily and naturally. Naturally means, like maybe theory we know, yes, we should fix our mind on Krishna undeviatingly, all these things we say. But sometimes there will be a lot of conflict within the mind of a devotee. I know going towards sense gratification, breaking the regulative principles, it is wrong, it is bad, I am not supposed to do it. Still, the mind, the senses forces us to commit. So there will be a fight whether to do it or not do it. And there are certain devotional activities which are given to us, which we may not like it, but still it is told to us we need to do it. There will be a conflict in the mind. So this is a stage of every sadhaka which he has to pass through. But this is not the way he is eternally supposed to be. Fighting, oh, mind is not listening, senses are not listening, somehow I am supposed to do. It's a stage. But a devotee should aspire to a stage wherein naturally he will be inclined towards devotional activities. Naturally he is averse from committing sinful acts. So this is that whatever Raganuga stage, Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service. So how we can attain to that stage? By practice as given here, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, engaging the mind, engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord intensely. Then, another sentence in the purport, Prabhupada says, if one seriously engages in Krishna consciousness, that is the highest perfectional stage. All Krishna conscious activities are on the highest perfectional level of human life. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kahe Sudrida Nishchaya Krishne Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. This is the Shraddha required for the devotee. If I practice devotional service, if I am engaged in devotional service to the Lord, Sarva Karma Kritahaya, everything is done, all perfection is reached. This, let us try to understand to the words of Krishna given in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The last verse in the 15th chapter. There also Krishna speaks about the perfectional stage. 15th chapter verse 20. Iti guhyatamam shastram idamuktam mayanagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityascha bharata. Iti guhyatamam shastram. My dear Arjuna, till now I have explained to you Guhyatama, Guhya, Guhyatara, Guhyatama, superlative degree, the most confidential knowledge. And Etad Buddhva Buddhiman Syat. That person who understands this, he is Buddhiman, he is the most intelligent person. And by understanding this, by applying it, Kritakrityascha Bharata. Kritakrityaha. Kritakrityaha means the most perfect. He has attained perfection. A translation goes like this. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. His endeavors will know perfection. Endeavors means all different kinds of activities we do, different practices we do. It will attain perfection just by understanding and applying this specific teaching given in this portion of the Bhagavad Gita. What is this, whatever Guhyatama, whatever knowledge which Krishna is referring to? The previous verse, if we see, there Krishna says, text 19, Yo mamevam asammodho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Yo mam evam asammodho. Modaha means, we know moda means foolish person. Asammodaha, not being foolish, being intelligent, applying our intelligence, using our intelligence. Yomam evam asammodho janati purushottamam. Janati means he understands what? Purushottamam. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Purushottama. Because just few verses before this, he has explained about there is one Kshara living entities, there are Akshara living entities, and above this Kshara and Akshara is the Purushottama. Yo mamevam asammodho janati purushottamam. So understanding Krishna to be above all. He is a Supreme Lord, Supreme Master, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding this, Sasarvavit, he knows everything. If he has understood about the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, about pure devotees, about the living entities living in this material world perfectly, he knows everything. Sasarvavit. And knowing this, what does such a person do? Sasarvavit bhajati ma. He engages in devotional service to the Lord. Sasarvavit bhajati ma sarva bhavena bharata. Sarva bhavena, with full of his heart, with full of his, like everything, his mind, senses, everything, completely engages himself in the service of the Lord. So this is exactly what Kapila Muni is telling here. Tivrena bhakti yogena, engaging, being engaged fully in the service of the Lord. All of our capacities, it may be our talents, abilities, all of our senses, the mind, intelligence, everything engaged intensely in the service of the Lord. So this is that most confidential knowledge which the Lord speaks of. The same thing Lord Kapila is telling to his mother Devahuti. Lot of description we saw in the previous verses regarding the practice of devotional service, and in the concluding verse of this chapter, Kapila Muni is telling again, Etavan eva lokesmin pumsam nishreyasodayah tivrena bhakti yogena mano mai arpitam sthiram. So if at all we want to attain that highest perfectional stage of human life, then practice devotional service intensely by fixing your mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. So with this instruction, this chapter concludes. From next chapter we'll be seeing more instructions related to the fundamental principles of this material nature, about the spiritual world, and many other topics we'll be seeing in the future verses. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.